Welcome to 97 Octane Hockey Monday Night Raw. I'm joined by my former collegiate teammate, Mr. Aaron Rawlake.
Yeah, I've been called a lot of things, Dirsa.
Yeah, you betcha. Today is the beginning of a new era again in Edmonton Oilers history. Kris Knoblauch has been named head coach, and Paul Coffey, his assistant, to run the D-corps, and Glenn Gulletson keeps his spot, I guess, to run the power play, and whatever else he does behind the bench. Out is Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson. To me, I understand getting rid of a coach because the team is struggling. Just the timing of that, to me, was a little curious, to say the least. I know you got a different opinion on this than me, but I don't like it if you made that decision that, after that San Jose loss, to get rid of the coach and just rip the Band-Aid off and get her done. I think having a lame duck coach go and coach against the Seattle Kraken, win a game, and actually look like your team's coming together, how you pictured at the start of the year, letting them go after that, to me, just the timing just sucked shit. But go ahead, Aaron.
It's a tough spot. You're on that road trip, and what do? I think they made the decision. You I'm sure, saw the clips of basically I'm reading their him and Manson. Probably knew they were done. Yeah. Timing wise, that's a bad look. But again, logistically now, I mean, can you get the guy there to come all the way from from Hartford and things like that? And is it fair to leave Gulletson on the bench by himself? Run those two guys off. And just strictly, I'm going to say this as a guy who's administrated, albeit junior teams in the past. This is purely economics. Do you want to pay for 2 extra seats to fly those guys home?
Man, is that a fucking corporate asshole in you coming out? And I love it.
Well, hey, at the end of the day, you're all in this to make money, right? No, is it tough? Is it maybe the right thing for the team? Probably. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody will look back and agree. And I'm sure you've got to be positive that that Holland was sick about it as well. Like the way it kind of had to go down timing wise.
Okay, you bring up his name. That leads me to something that I want to say is that, normally in professional sports, a general manager gets 2 head coaches. Guess what number we're on for Kenny? 3. You can say he's a lame duck GM. He's done at the end of the year and all that noise. But to me, it's getting rid of Jay is an indictment on Ken Holland too.
You think he's done at the end of the year?
I don't know.
I think he did. I think Ken Holland has done exactly what he was supposed to do, is try and find players to supplement the superstars to win and get to the cap or over and see what happens. And I think they just, was there bad decisions? Yeah, for sure there was. But is it any different than 31 other teams in the league that have all had bad signings? Yeah. Of course we see it a little closer.
Yeah, you got to take the good with the bad, and a lot of people only see the bad.
Yeah, that's right. That said, they can always be things that are done better, but I don't know. I think that Now we're going to go spin full circle here. I think the opinion on Ken Holland now is going to ride solely with the guy that's never coached before and is going to run our defense in Paul Coffey.
Are you really worried about Coffey being a D coach?
No. I think he's going to come at it, and if he's smart, he'll come at it from the point of encourage them. I don't know how much of that they seem to be getting. They look beat up. I mean, sometimes maybe they need a little confidence boost. I think the guys that need to be turned loose need to run loose. I mean,
yeah. I mean, me and you talked about that before Woodcroft was even fired, and I wanted you on before he was let go because I figured it was a possibility, And what did you say to me? I mean, you said, got to let the horses run, right?
Yeah, and one of the things I mentioned, I'd love to be able to just have a camera that camera, even microphone if possible, but a camera just to view the bench for the whole game before Woodcroft was let go, just to really get a sense of where things were at. I mean, it's tough when the cameras fly by and you only see McDavid and you only see Draisaitl and the odd shot of one or two other guys, but to see what the body language was like. To me, that's a big thing. As a guy that's coached a long time, is what's the body language of the crew.
So you read a lot into that.
Oh, 100%. You can tell. I mean, where guys' heads are at just by, just their posture, their shoulder.
Like, and I mean, you brought up something else to me too when we were just chatting back and forth about you thinking maybe there's some poison cancer in that room. Do you still think that, or you don't know, and you'd just like to sit on the bench for a period and find out? You think that's why Coffey's there?
I think that's part of why he's there. I think part of it too is, unfortunately, in professional sports, sometimes if there is a cancer, the first guy to pass away from it is the coach, and I think that's right. What in this case. I think there's a problem. I think there's something, and maybe this fixes it. Maybe it does. Sometimes it absolutely does. It's been proven in the past with numerous professional teams, and maybe this is the kick that one or two guys needed that were causing some problems, and away they go.
You talk about a dead cat bounce after a new coach comes in. I mean, this has got to be the ninth cat. We got to be on the last life here. It's a lot of coaches that have been turned over, right?
But what a hard team to coach. At the end of the day, man, hard to coach when and you're a basketball guy, so I'm going to say this. How many guys that coach LeBron James, the best player in the world? The best player in the world, probably the hardest guy to coach, and to find people that fit with him and mold the team around not just the best player, but in my opinion, the two best players in the world.
Okay, so now if you're making GOAT arguments, then Jordan's the GOAT because he only had 3 head coaches in the NBA.
Yeah, wow. But you watch The Last Dance. Who really ran that team?
Yeah.
And is that so? That's my question for you, Mike. Is us being Canadians, we haven't seen this a lot. We're too polite. We say I'm sorry all the time.
Right.
Is this a generational issue where the players, they're not sorry anymore? I get their will to win, but I get, their understanding of the power they had. And I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that the Oilers' best players caused this and that they stomped into the office like Shoresy and demanded things. But it's the generational culture. And we haven't seen a lot of this as Canadians. I think we thought it was going to happen in Toronto. They got rid of Babcock before that happened, but we don't really see it. I think the last time we saw a player publicly stand up to a coach was probably in Canada, was probably Patrick Roy, and the next day he was gone.
Right.
He didn't win that war. Well, players are winning wars now. So
you're referring to players being GMs, basically?
100%. And if you're going to pay them $11, $12 million, they better have a fucking say.
Yeah. It's an interesting subject of discussion for sure. I mean, I think Connor's going to run out of people to point fingers at for sure. Other than him, I mean, he's getting pretty much everything I think that he wants. Um, I don't know if I buy that he's the reason why Kris Knoblauch's the coach right now. I think the people above him looked and said, this guy's coached Connor before. It worked in Erie. He's done well in the AHL. If we're going to go to somebody that isn't a recycled coach, let's look at this guy. I'm actually surprised that he wasn't named head coach before Dave Tippett. I thought that would have been actually the time that Kris Knoblauch would have been the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. This one kind of surprises me, not like overwhelm me with surprise, but it did surprise me that they went this route. I was thinking Gerard Gallant, Glenn Gulletson being named the head coach, those kind of things. But I'm interested to see what this guy can do with this group. I mean, yeah, he's on the ice today. There's smiles and looks like a caring guy, much like Woodcroft. Wants to get to know the players. Looks like a player's coach, but is this a guy that holds people accountable, or does he let shit just run rampant?
So one of the things that people love to talk about, Dirsa, is coaching trees. We hear this with, football, especially the Nick Sabans, all these coaches that play for Belichick, Parcells, all these guys.
Right.
I think one of the things that's lost in this is where Kris Knoblauch comes from. Who did he play for 4 years?
I know he played for the Edmonton Ice, if that's what you're...
Keep going, a little older. He played for Claire Drake.
Okay.
So if that doesn't carry some weight with people in Edmonton...
There you go. Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Because you can't tell me he goes in there out of junior, so he's 22 years old heading in there, 21 years old, 22, and plays there and learns that culture from probably the best hockey man ever in Alberta, realistically.
Yeah, and you could even expand that, probably, maybe even all of Canada.
100%. Absolutely revered in how to deal with players, how to deal with human beings. And when you have a guy that came through that program like Knoblauch did, and that's, to me, has been the biggest, I guess, rumor conversation, is how he treats guys. And I'll take it back to that is, I mean, I'm sure he's played for other really good coaches, but he's a product of that Claire Drake culture. And I think that's going to be huge for the Oilers.
So let's go back in history to the beginning of time when me and you were in college. I remember walking into practices. I was kind of not scouted, not recruited, nothing. And the team I'm joining is a team that has expectations of winning a national championship, and it didn't go that way for us. Do you think these guys, put the weight of the world on their shoulders and were overwhelmed by it, or just is it a case of truly being outcoached, injuries, perfect storm of a lot of shit? Do you still believe that they are a championship caliber team? I mean, I bought that in the summer, so for me to sit here and say Ken Holland needs to go, I look at him as failing with two coaches, so that's a reason why I'd be hard on the GM. But for player personnel, I mean, Jack Campbell, that hasn't worked, and I believed in a Jack Campbell redemption tour, and that hasn't happened. Connor Brown, that signing, we don't know yet where that's going to end up, but
right.
What do you think?
I'm going to say no, because, and the reason I say that is because these players have been under a microscope since they were 13 years old. Pressure, albeit, will bother them at times. They get to this level that they're at, I believe, by being able to compartmentalize that and put it away and give their effort. And especially when you have players that have played in championships like McDavid, like Draisaitl has, Memorial Cups, Bouchard. The list can go on and on. So they're professionals. I mean, maybe I'm just jaded in the fact that they grew up in this system and they understand it. I always liken it to, hockey is our church, and they grew up in that church and they understand the pressures that go with it.
I'm gonna pick up on one of these comments off of YouTube here from our pretend Kings Oilers fan here, Angel Sandoval. He says coaching tree. I'm not sure I've ever seen a great coaching tree. So, I mean, for me, if I look at the NBA and I think about Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, kind of learn the model from Phil, and then he does his thing in Golden State. I mean, there's countless coaches that have come underneath John Wooden, and like you say, Claire Drake has there's so many coaches that have come through Claire Drake's system and learned it and kind of replicated it. And if you want to have success, the easiest way to success is find somebody that's been successful and duplicate what they do.
Yeah, duplicate it, but you've got to innovate and grow with it.
For sure.
You talk about recycled guys. I mean, I'll tell you what, if they would have hired a Sutter, I would have hung it up. I would have burned my Oilers jerseys and found a new team, because that style of hockey is archaic. It is done. It is gone. Adios.
Yeah, I like Daryl Sutter, but
great interview.
I don't think. I don't think he relates to the player now, and that's you got to be able to do that.
You do, and I mean, there's been a lot of comments about inmates running the asylum. I don't know, and that's the thing is, how well. So I'll go on the comment here. Ken Holland assembled this mess that the coaches are trying to make work. It's 100% on Holland. I'm going to take that down to about 75%. I think they've got a good idea of what these players are like ahead of time, but that's one thing that is, to me, is wild about free agency is you're signing guys. How well do you really know them? Who's vouching for them? Who's talking about them in the room and the effort they're going to give, and are they truly coming in understanding the role that they're going to play? Like did Brown come in being told you're going to play on the right side with 97 all the time? Well, right. that worked in junior, but might not work at this level.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you can speculate on that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We can spin our tires on that all we want, but the right people, and it's tough, man. Like, that's 23 guys hanging around the room and getting 23 guys to get along like brothers. It's a hard thing. I mean, you and I did it as teammates when there's only 12 of us, and there's times we want to beat the shit out of each other.
Right. Yeah.
And I played with guys that I didn't like.
And then there's times we watch Zoomer in a little pub in Fox Creek doing karaoke to Maniac and making us all laugh our heads off. So
nothing like the bus breaking down to have a good time.
That's right.
I hope it works. I think you're going to, I don't know if tonight is going to be the real indicator. How long do you give them? I guess that's you like the recycled coach numbers is when do you get a sense on the new guy? I mean, obviously they're probably going to be stuck with him for the year, no matter what happens. But you kind of go, okay, after 5 games, if we're 4-1 or 3-2, is that looking good?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like I think really there's probably about a 5 or 6 game hangover from Jay, and then you're actually going to see what Kris Knoblauch is like for a coach, because it just takes a little while to adjust. I guess one thing I can do here too is go over, because there actually is a game. We'll cover us up for a second and projected lines. So Stauffer's tweeting out this morning that RNH is going to be left wing with McDavid and Gagne, Kane, Draisaitl, Hyman as a line. That will be a load. Dylan Holloway with Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle, Raphael Lavoie with Hamblin and Derek Ryan. Brown is an extra skater. Nurse Cece, Ekholm, Bouchard, Kulak, Desharnais. So really no changes on the back end. And I think Skinner's going to get another start. New York Islanders are Barzell, Horvat, Holmstrom, Engvall, Nelson, Palmieri, Lee, Peugeot, Wallstrom, Gauthier, Cizikas, Clutterbuck, Pelich, Dobson, Romanov, Pollock, Aho, Mayfield, and expecting Sorokin to get the start. So we're going to see a tough test in their nets.
Do you think maybe the Islanders leave one of their goaltenders behind for us?
Boom!
They got 2 pretty decent ones there.
You heard it here first. Speaking of that, I should probably throw up a QR code because our Heavy Hockey Network actually predicted Woodcroft getting canned before he actually got canned. They knew it was going to happen. I didn't want really anything to do with the story. I didn't really feel comfortable about putting something like that out there into the universe, knowing that they had a game against Seattle and that Jay was going to be coaching. And I figured if Jay got a win and you're on a winning streak, albeit one game, you don't fuck with a winning streak has kind of always been my sports motto. But nope, that's not how it went down. They were 100% bang on. And anybody that thought we were full of shit, I guess, can eat it because we got it right. So credit to Mike Dashney, Dash in the Park, and Oilers Live, Michael Hebert, for coming up with that story and getting it right. Lotsberg has an article all about it that you can check out on. If you just scan the QR code, it'll take you to it. Yeah, wild stuff. But
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Does tonight go straight fire wagon?
Let her go.
There's a shot that tonight's game might be like 7-6.
Yeah, you think so? You think she'll just be right opened up and away we go?
I doubt they're going to make them try and play the same defensive system they've been playing. So you might as well just turn them loose.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's going to be that much of a change in their defensive system. Like, I listened to Knoblauch talk a little bit there, and he's talking about playing his zone still. So,
well, you can't switch until you get a couple days to practice. A pregame skate today is not going to switch the defensive system.
Yeah. I almost think that that like inside their blue line is not going to change. What's going to change is from their blue line to the opposition's blue line, their neutral zone. Like they brought in more of a trap. And that's not Edmonton Oilers hockey unless you're Craig McDavid trying to beat the Detroit Red Wings in 06 by using surprise really to take the Wings by surprise. I still think they need a two-man forecheck and a high-pressure game. This team lives and dies off of instant offense, and that's how you get it. So,
they've got a ton of speed, so use it with the. I mean, I'm giggling to myself because I've been waiting to say this. When you show me the lines, there tonight, I'm like, oh fuck!
I can
Gagne might get a hat trick tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
The reason being is he's going to be the last guy in the zone. He's going to come right up to the top.
He's going to be the late trailer. Yeah.
He's going to bang one. And then they sign him for 3 years.
$775K, 3 years. Here you go, Savvy. Top line.
I honestly, I hope. You talk about Oilers at the in the pantheon. I mean, blood and guts, but. There's my question is for you follow this a lot more than I do is why bring him back?
Sam?
Yeah. Why do you think they brought him back?
Oh.
When they bring him up when they're what, 1-6 or some just a dog shit record?
Yeah, he was gaining traction in the AHL, so he was putting points on the board, but honestly, I think he's the heart. I mean, he's like old Ryan Smith. Except he plays a different game, but it's a lot like Smitty. Like he's the fucking guy going to the hard areas of the ice to bang pucks in.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He does have talent still. Like it's just
100%. You're not going to lose those hands.
And Sam was never a speed demon, so I'm not going to knock him, for losing a step or that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Him and Kane are their grit right now, and I mean Hyman can play that game too. I just haven't seen much of that from Hyman yet, but it'll come.
Yeah, I mean I love the veteran presence when they brought him back, but so the day they brought him back, my wife, she didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but I said to her, if the Oilers don't win 4 of the next 5, they're firing the coach.
With Woodcroft, you mean?
Yeah, and when I said that, and I said that kind of tongue in cheek, joking, but
you're probably right.
Well, but did you bring back that veteran guy that the GM and everybody can trust to have a conversation with as to what the room's like, what the morale is like? Are we done? I think they definitely brought him for a boost, some leadership, maybe some, like you said, some stability for sure. Um, he's been that guy when he was here before, like you said, a blood and guts guy for sure, with really, really good hands. But um,
Yeah.
fire wagon hockey, I'm calling it. He's getting a hat trick tonight.
I love that idea. Oh,
It,
man.
yeah, it could be pure madness. And you watch, if he's got two, he's going out on the power play.
Okay, I'm gonna say this too. Like, I don't like to kick a guy when he's down, but to me, the thing that I hated about Jay Woodcroft the most is Sam's working on a hat trick, a natural hat trick in the third period, and you keep him on the bench when you got the goalie pull trying to tie the game when he's the only one doing any fucking thing. That pissed me off.
He's probably out of gas, though. He's probably out of gas.
Maybe.
But I'll tell you what, Jay Woodcroft holds a special place in my heart now after him taking shots at Mark Spector.
Oh, beautiful, delicious.
Yeah, he. I hope he gets a job right away. I think somebody's going to hire him the second that this,
The next firing, he's the next hiring.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if he reappears as a head coach right away. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he appears with a team that's got a real shot. Like
our buddy Angel here from LA Kings. It would not surprise me if he's an assistant on their bench beside Todd again too. But
yeah, no, but Angel just made a great comment, and I'm sure it's going to pop up here in a second that there seemed to be a disconnect between coach and player. Yeah, I
don't know.
I think he understood the. It's almost like last year to me, Woodcroft. He knew he had nothing to lose. So was a lot looser. Even he seemed tighter this year. But part of that too would be when you're bombarded every day with, what's the parade route? What's the parade route?
Yeah,
that stuff. But I mean, he'll get picked up. That definitely. I think Woodcroft's a good hockey guy. You look back at his record in the AHL before he came up, pretty similar to the guy that they just brought. Kind of the next thing. I kind of forgot Knoblauch was down there. I guess we don't hear a lot about the Hartford Wolfpack in the AHL up here, but I think it's a really good fit. I think he's going to blend in now. Let's go full circle to where we kind of started with this. Is the connections back to the president of hockey operations and the team captain. I mean, that's I can see how there's a lot of people waving red flags big time on that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to can Jay. What kind of interview process do we go through for the next guy? No, they called their shot. They went and got their guy that they wanted.
They had to. They had to. And why not? And part of that is I go back to Ken Holland. Has he been good? Has he been bad here or there? But the one thing he's had is some balls. And I think even he recognizes we've got to go all in.
Yeah. Well, to me right now, what they need to do is get another goalie to support Stuart Skinner, because I don't see Jack Campbell finding his game anytime soon, and he's going to need more than a career AHLer with a little bit of NHL experience to kind of be his backup.
So,
and it's not easy, but
get your crystal ball out, Dirsa, because I know you've been thinking about it, and if you tell me you're not, you're lying.
Oh man, I'm
gonna give you. So give me your three that you want, and maybe two that you really think they can get.
Yeah, I mean, people will go out after Carter Hart in Philly, and maybe there's a chance of that, but what do you have to give up to get him? UC Saros, kind of the same situation. I mean, I like your idea that you threw out there of leaving a goalie home from the Islanders after tonight's game and walking away with that. That might be as plausible as anything. I mean, they put out there Jordan Binnington, but I think Binnington has a no trade clause, and Edmonton sitting in the basement right now. Is he going to waive his no trade to come to the Oilers? I don't know.
Two best players in the world, baby.
Why is Vancouver all of a sudden a goalie factory? And can you grab something within your own conference? I don't know. And it seems like the Flames, somebody's going to go from there, but is Dan Vladar going to be enough? Like I think if you're going to get somebody, swing for the fucking moon and let's get her going here. Like,
Yeah, you swing for the moon, you got to give up the moon.
Yeah, you do. But what's the biggest area that the Oilers have neglected over their history in terms of positional play on the ice? And it's been net mining. I mean, we haven't exactly had a great record for drafting, stellar goaltenders. You got to go back all the way to Grant pretty much to have one.
That's digging deep. Like, I mean,
It is.
Oh, that's digging really deep.
Yeah, you're going to the beginning.
No, you're right in that aspect. I mean, that's a goaltender world is nothing I'll ever to understand. The age-old adage, goalies are weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And voodoo. And yeah.
Yeah, and but they, it also goes back to they've got to be your best defender, and and I think that makes it really, really tough too. I mean, you hear the same thing, in these cities all the time. And I mean, you had a guy like Carey Price that could take that mantle from Patrick Waugh.
Right.
We haven't had someone take that mantle from Grant Fuhr. Philly hasn't had someone take that mantle really from Crazy Ron Hextall.
Right.
It's Hart hasn't even done that yet. I mean,
no.
the next 5 goalies that, they're doing pretty well, but the next 5 goalies this will tip Angel over that play in LA are going to have a tough, they're always going to be compared to Jonathan Quick.
Yeah.
But where's our next guy? You're exactly right. And is he available in trade? If you're all the GMs in the league, do you want to make a trade with the Oilers right now? You're going to fleece them. The Oilers are going to get fleeced. They're going to have to get fleeced because, and if you're a Western Conference team, you sure as hell don't want to make that trade, because unless you're doing worse than them, which nobody is.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they end up, you're in second and they sneak into 7th. Well, that's a dog shit first round matchup. Nobody's going to want to play the Oilers in the first round if they're a 8, 7, 6 seed team. That really should have been 1 or 2, but for the start of the year.
I'm going to put a positive spin on that thought you just brought there of, going up against the best team. If you're going to go to the Cup, you're going to see him anyway. So why not see him early when you're fresh?
Yep. Yeah, and I think you're right. It doesn't matter who you play. Just get there.
Yeah.
Just get there.
Yeah, home ice would be nice, but I think they kiss that goodbye. But Jackson's going to clean house and bring in all his own friends to this organization, rinse and repeat. I don't know. I don't think Marchetti, the analytics guy, is friends with Mr. Jackson, but I think they got a guy there that has kind of a direction he wants to go, and doesn't give a shit how he has to go about getting it, but he wants to get who he wants to get. I think he's kind of silently replaced Bob Nicholson and really Ken Holland in a sense, and you're looking at the guy that basically runs the organization right now, and Paul Coffey is the guy that oversees it all from within.
100%. No, Nicholson's take a step back. He's running the business side of things for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I remember them alluding to that a couple of years ago, that they were all kind of taking steps back, and really Holland was running the hockey operations, so to speak.
Oh, here we go. This is goalie coach talk from Angel. He says if the Oil's willing to retain some cap, send Soupy home to the Kings. Ranford will have him back in shape in no time.
I don't think he's wrong.
Dustin Schwartz, how do you like that one?
I don't think he's wrong. Wow, and talk about could be. I mean, who knows how that team was, right? So Schwartz and Knoblauch played together. So the Oilers turn this around and away they go. Does that keep Schwartz even more secure?
I think he's got like a little bit. I think Stuart Skinner becoming a Calder Trophy nominee last year gave Dustin Schwartz a lifeline, as they would say, on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
And flip side to it too is, who cares about the fucking goalie coach?
Man.
If the power play was batting 8%, then Gulutzan, we're going to have a conversation. But
yeah,
I mean, come on.
To me, the real test of the Dustin Schwartz is we know Stuart Skinner can play at a NHL caliber clip, and him rocking an 850 or maybe it's went up to like 870 save percentage now is an indictment on the Oilers period and a little bit of him. If he can't resurrect back getting closer to the 900s or beyond, then I would look at the goalie coach at the end of the year and try to bring in somebody else. But I played, senior hockey with a guy that basically his attitude was, it's the guys on the ice. Fuck the coaches. It's the guys on the ice. They got to get it done or they don't. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, they're professionals, right? Like it's the only thing that concerns me is the way I see a lot of these guys coming up now is they've got, you've got coaches. So you've got your I'm going to call it your team coaches, and then you've got your personal coaches. Right. And that's what always scares me is do we have a team coach saying one thing and a personal coach, back home in Melfort, Saskatchewan saying, you got to be doing this, and it's like riding home with dad in the car, right? Coach is telling me to do this, but when my ride home, my dad's telling me to do something else.
Right.
Nothing ruins a hockey player more than that.
Right.
And were those things happening to some of those guys, again, just speculating, but I think they're going to be tough to find a goalie. They got to straighten one of these guys out, and maybe this is just a straight up confident boost to, maybe Skinner stands on his head tonight in this 7-6 win. I'm predicting
because he sees 50 shots anyway.
I mean, nobody complained in the 80s when we scored 8 and 9 all the time, and we gave up 6, and Grant Fuhr's save percentage was 850 as long as he made 3 saves in the third period.
Yeah.
And that's
lock it down and get the win.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, right? At the end of the day, it's still going to be a show me business. Well, you can have all the stats you want. To me, the very first one that matters is the W.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing for the Oil right now to turn around is who cares how, we just need how many.
We're getting old because I'm with you. Like, you're a young athlete, and the first thing you do after a game is you go to the score sheet and check your stats. How did I do? For us, it was how many kills, how many blocks. Now it's just look at the scoreboard. Did we win?
But it's almost worse that way now with the analytics and everything else. Like, did I win 6 faceoffs? Did I lose 12 faceoffs? This and that. Like, I through the league that I run, I have access to a program called Instat, tied into Flow Hockey. It stats all these minor hockey games at the elite AAA level, and the deep dive into statistics is insane. There's like for U15, U13, 17, U18, it's crazy. Okay. It is crazy.
What we should do, Aaron, is talk about what Aaron is an assistant coach for the Lakeland College Rustlers men's volleyball team, and he also is the vice chair of the Alberta Elite Hockey League. Maybe you can talk about the AEHL.
AEHL, baby. AAA hockey for the province of Alberta. I administer the male side. U15, U17, U18 for development league. Obviously, I think most people, especially around Alberta, Western Canada, know of the AEHL. U15, obviously, that's the age they're draft eligible for the WHL. And a couple years ago, we switched from U17 or U16 to U17. 50 teams across the province, spread amongst the three divisions. It's we have zone teams hosted by communities. So, for example, I live in Lloydminster. Lloydminster is the host of the Lloydminster Lancers program, which runs our district or zone team. So kids from all over, they bill it in communities. I know you live up in GP, same thing. You'll have kids from Peace River, Valley View, wherever, living in GP, playing for the Storm up there. I would consider it the top development league in Canada, the way we are structured, the way we are set up. We run one giant pyramid of male elite hockey, and it's I work with guys from across the province, different levels, and it's great. I get asked a lot about players in our league. I don't have a freaking clue. I don't think I can name 15 kids in Lloydminster playing. This is not my job. My job is to administer the program from a very high level. Um, Unfortunately, the only players' names I know are the ones that get to a certain level of suspension or have an incident that comes to me. I deal with that. But I worked at Hockey Alberta for almost 15 years and kind of ended up in this position 4 years ago, I guess, and been really enjoyable to kind of start that league from scratch. As some of you may know, we used to have a Alberta Major Bantam, minor midget, and a major midget league, the AMHL, ABHL, those things. We merged them all into one. Is really what the AHL is. Under one umbrella, we have literally our sister league, the AFHL, the Alberta Female Hockey League, runs beside us, running AAA and elite hockey for the female side. So it's a great synergy. It's Hockey has let me, Mike, meet some unreal people. My wife thinks I'm the dumbest human on the planet because I do all this work for hockey, but I don't get paid. But the relationships are fabulous, and it is a pile of fun. So, I mean, yeah, anybody gets a chance to check it out. I'll go to more minor hockey games than I will professional games.
You also had some history with the Vermilion Tigers, and I probably should introduce you with that, with this.
Nothing like playoffs in the old stadium in Vermilion when I had the Tiger hit.
So that doesn't do it justice because they would have that song just fucking cranked.
To this day, still pumping.
I remember, like, I think it was like Vermilion and Vegreville or something going head to head, or maybe it was even my old stomping grounds from Sedgwick, but the Killam Wheat Kings were playing. I think that's what it was. I think a bunch of us from Sedgwick went to Vermilion to watch the Tigers and the Wheat Kings play. And I mean, that barn and that song were so fucking loud. You felt like, you were at an Oiler. You felt like you were at an Oiler game, and just the goosebumps.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the last couple of years, Tigers have had real good teams. They went through a real funk for probably a decade. They had their decade of darkness, like the Oilers.
Yeah,
real good team now. They got a real good engagement from the community and a real good buy-in back with the college right there. It's fun to see. Junior B was really my thing with Hockey Alberta. I ran junior hockey for a decade. That'll always hold a special place in my heart because to me, a lot of people still call it, you want to debate me on whether it's the jungle, you call me anytime, I'll go at you all day. Because those guys play for the right reasons. They play because they want to play high-level contact hockey, but still have a life, have a job, have a house, have a career, have a trade, go to college. They're dedicated, and 90% of them know that's probably the end of the road. Senior hockey after that.
Yeah.
But they love it, and I mean, that always holds a special place. I mean, I got to go all over Alberta to places, man, for provincials and events and everything with junior hockey and junior B and junior C. So here's my trivia question of the night for you, Mikey.
All right, here we go.
How many junior C teams are in the province of Alberta?
Junior C.
Junior C.
Wow. I've never seen a junior C.
What are you going to guess on junior B? I guess that's an easier one.
On junior B in the province of Alberta, man, I'm going to say there's probably about 100.
No, God, no, half that. There's 50.
Really? Okay.
It'll jump depending on who's kind of coming and going, between 49 and 51 or 2. It's been steady like that for probably 15 years.
And now you're talking junior C. I'm going to say about 50.
I'm going to break it down for you. There's only 2 junior C leagues. One is in the Capital Region and one is in Calgary. Okay,
then I'm going to go to about 16 teams.
So, yeah, in the one league, yeah, there's 28 total.
Really? Wow.
So you take with the AJHL, there are 96 roughly junior age hockey teams in Alberta.
Okay. And I just went with a shit ton of junior B teams because I know, like, small towns like Vermilion and Killam both have them. Vegreville, I mean, yeah. So
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, a lot of guys that guys that have coached in those things a lot of times for a long time. You'll see, geez, we've had, right now you got just north of me here up in Onion Lake, Well, here's one for our Kings fan in the room. I mean, DJ King's coaching that team.
Mm.
You know, DJ still got one tooth from losing one in the show and missing one tooth in the show, but an awesome guy that's doing it for the right reasons back in on a in a community that helped raise him, and had 80 guys out to camp. Between running chuck wagons in the summer and coaching community hockey in the winter, and heavily involved in the community in the area, and a guy that he played in the show and just wanted to give back.
We have a friend of our show. His name's Name Cardinal. He does Indigenous rookie cards. So he collects every Indigenous player's NHL rookie cards and has quite the site on that. So I'm sure Onion Lake hockey would resonate with him too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, it's hockey's a fabulous, fascinating thing, and so then I'll bring it right back around again here. There was a comment about Jackson hiring all his friends and all his buddies. And I say to that, fucking rights. Those are the guys you want to work with. I mean, we had a spot come open in our with the AHL, and guys, we're gonna get guys to apply and blah 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 blah. Who'd I get? Old captain of the Vermilion Junior B Tigers, Devin Selty, because I knew him. He played for me. He's running Fort Saskatchewan minor hockey. His term was up there. Devo, let's rock and roll. If I'm going to surround myself by people that I know and trust, know their work ethic, pull the Vermilion tagger right out, working side by side with me, and it's awesome. Because you got a comfort level and you're pulling in the same direction. And as much as they say, oh, you're hiring all your friends, they're your friends because they're going the same way as you.
Right. You're taking the guesswork out too, right?
100%. Like, there's a comfort level. You can hit the ground running. You don't have to learn what everybody else is thinking and doing. As long as you're positive that they're going in the same direction as you and you have trust, rock and roll. And I think that's 100%. If I'm Jackson, I'm doing the same thing. You surround yourself with like-minded people, and most of the time they're your friends, especially in the hockey world.
Yeah. No.
And I think that's, thankfully, why we didn't see coaches getting recycled, where a guy like Knoblauch comes in. Well, you don't think Jackson and the gang have known him since Jackson has probably been McDavid's agent since he was 12 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's bring in a guy we know that I watched work for how long.
Not everything needs to be a negative.
No, exactly. I mean, it's a good fit. So, but so Dirsa bailed on me with the goalie thing. Who you wanted, you chicken shit.
Well, now you're really gonna put it to me. I don't want Mackenzie Blackwood out of San Jose, but if you're talking about a Pacific Division goalie that the Oilers might be able to acquire from somebody that's lower than them, I don't know. I haven't checked the standings lately, but maybe beating Seattle, we leapfrog the Sharks, and that Blackwood guy played pretty good against us. I don't know, like the Oilers seem to have a huge problem with backup goalies stinging us. So why can't we find a backup goalie that'll sting other people?
Yeah,
I
like Bennington. I like Bennington's fire.
Yeah,
I think to me that's one thing that seemed to serve the Oilers pretty well was the fire that Mike Smith had, even despite the horrendous brain farts sometimes.
Yeah,
but Smith was always that guy to me that, he might let one in from the red line in the first period, but he's probably going to make a hell of a save in the third.
Yeah.
But he had fire. Like, he was a little crazy.
Yeah.
I think Bennington's a little bit of the same. That might,
a little bit of the crazy and a little less of the chaos.
Yeah.
And he's won it all before.
For sure. So is that a good fit? Maybe can they get him out of there? Who knows? I mean, that's we can crystal ball. We wish it was easy as NHL 2K.
I do like the idea of Carter Hart with the Oilers, but I don't know if Philly would part ways with him. I mean, he's really the only thing that holds that organization in game sometimes. So
does he have no trade?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And what tweaks me about that is I think being a goaltender and maybe that's a little bit what's piled up on Skinner is you're a hometown boy.
Yeah, so it's
It's
hard.
got to be hard to be. I don't know how that is. I couldn't claim it. I've only heard it secondhand from guys I know that have played in the NHL that it's really, really tough to play in your hometown.
I think there's added probably extra pressure of having, mom and dad and your sister and your cousins and all your friends in the building to watch you play. I think that probably adds to it. And
Well,
then,
I'll ride home with your dad.
yeah, yeah, to get out coached by your dad. And then, the other part too is that when you're walking down the street, everybody knows who you are too. And, so if it's not going well.
Well, I tell you what, it's funny you say that because obviously living here in Lloydminster, we have a fairly decorated goaltender from Lloydminster with Mr. Holtby. And he's made that comment to me once, asking him actually this summer, saw him, and he's on injured, basically retired, living back in West Virginia outside of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like down there? And he said, one of the things I've always liked down there is I can walk down the street and nobody knows who I am. Even when he was in Vancouver, that wasn't the case. Dallas was a little better, but Washington was. And that's a guy saying that with, we all know how Holtby projected himself, the hair flips and everything else, which, I mean, obviously, I have no idea. But there's something to be said for that. And I'm sure it weighs on him a little bit. I doubt too many people see, Connor and Leon walking down Jasper Ave. It's got to be a tough way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes out for dinner. He goes out for dinner and gets shit on by some clowns.
Yeah. But then the flip side too, and I say this strictly as a fan, is you're not getting sympathy from me. I'll give you 11.5 million reasons why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's, and the expectations. You're a guy like Skinner, and it's tough, man. So his parents grew up here in the 80s. I mean, he's young. He would have missed the cup run, but he would have heard about it his whole life. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough one, and good on him. But again, they've been under the microscope. I mean, I remember Skinner when he played, in the previous incarnation, the AMBHL, which is now essentially he played in the AEHL. I mean, he was a standout goalie on a unbelievably good Southside Athletic Club team.
Yeah.
Benson led the league in scoring. And so, but it's got to weigh on them. But that again, I keep saying, let's go back full circle. Well, who's going to trade with the Oilers in the position they're in right now without just completely fleecing them?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I look at it as if you're in a cup or bust season, we'll coin the phrase again, and you're out there trying to get a goalie. If you're parting ways with Campbell going the other way, you're probably giving up a high pick for somebody to just take that on, and then you
don't have a lot of them.
Well, there's futures, right? You can go down the road. You can.
So then, that's my question for you: is how big is the window? How long do you think the window is? And are you willing to sacrifice? I'm going to call them the days of darkness.
Yep.
Which is essentially the entire Ryan Smith era.
Yep.
You love him.
Yep.
Are you willing to go through that again to win with this group in the next 3 years?
Yeah,
and Mike Dirsa, that's your question.
Honestly, I think you have to narrow that window to 2 years. Sure. You've got this year and next, and then after that, you've got a bunch of question marks, unknowns.
Are you willing to have 10 years of dog shit for 1 year of a parade?
And I think so. Yep.
And now, strictly economically, as an administrator of hockey teams in the past, if I'm Daryl Cates, all day. That team's worth $1.6 billion now. They win a cup, it's worth $2 billion.
Right. Or more. Yeah. Yeah. Give her.
Yep. You can sell off your assets, and
if I'm looking at the team, that's the biggest area that you need to get under control is the net, and it's always been that way. That position has been neglected, like I say, by this organization since the very start. You need to put your main focus in your goaltending and build out from there. The Edmonton Oilers have put their main focus in the center ice position. They've done a hell of a job with it, but to me, you got to solidify your net, and then you build around that. And when we haven't done that, you can still do that. Give up some futures, give up a few firsts, like this year, next year, the year after, whatever it takes, and solidify that net. Get that showstopper keeper, get that in place, and then the next thing you need to do is look at getting a top first line right shot defenseman to solidify that, and then this team is golden.
Oh, fuck. Everybody's so hung up on this. Oh, he shoots this way, he shoots this way.
No, I don't care about the handedness. Nurse needs a better partner.
You just need him to be able to turn that way. So we just got a comment in the group chat that I think we should probably throw out there.
That is the funniest thing you've said today. So this is it. Just out of curiosity, which players, coaches are holding players, coaches accountable in the locker room? And are those leaders also coaching the game the right way to be believable? Are we talking Reg Dunlop here? Is that
No, man. That question right there, and you're going to see it tonight, is when Sam Gagner gets a fucking hat trick. Because that's why he's there. And who's holding him accountable in the back end? I've been waiting for Ekholm to basically beat the shit out of some other defenseman on the team because he looks like he wants to do it.
Oh, when he said this is the worst that's ever been for me in my career, he was mad.
Yeah, and I think that might be enough to scare guys. He doesn't seem to me, and of course, I've never met him. I don't know him.
Gentle giant, but don't piss him off. Yeah.
Yeah, where he showed some anger, and I bet you some of those guys went, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Who plays the right way? I think Kane's been playing the right way. I think Hyman always plays the right way. McDavid plays the right way. I think Draisaitl comes and goes, but he's too talented to ignore.
Yeah. When he's on, he's lethal, and when he's not, you kind of look at him like, "What are you doing, man?" Warren Fogel's had a great year. If the guy had hands, he'd be on pace for like a 30-goal season.
Tell me there's times that you glance up at the TV and Fogel's dangling in the neutral zone and you think it's McDavid until he stick handles the puck square and loses it in the corner.
Yeah, that 37-97 thing can get you. It's just his frame. He's built a little bit more like a Coke machine, and Connor's a little bit more straight up. But
yeah. When you glance at the TV, and it's a Friday night or Saturday night game, and you've had 5 drinks, you're like, holy shit. And then you're like, oh my God, it's fucking Fogel. But it's like, you're right. If he had half a better set of hands, it'd be an all-star game. But
yeah.
But he works.
You can't fault the try.
No, and you need more guys. Like, I don't think they lack guys that try, that want to play the game the right way, but do they know how at this level?
Right.
And I think that's, they got away with a lot last year. And you and I talked about a little bit the other day where maybe do we have some guys that maybe have some injury concerns that are maybe not the difference between hurt and injured?
Yeah.
Injured, you're out, but are they hurting? Yeah, which maybe takes them down to 85%.
I love you quoting the program.
Yeah. Well, it's honest. I say that to my volleyball players. So
Jefferson, are you injured or are you hurt? Coach, I don't know what that means. Well, if you're hurt, you can still play. If you're injured, you can't. I guess I'm just hurt, Coach.
Yeah, it's you shake your head. But no, I think I'm going to stay positive that this is going to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
I think the change was warranted, needed. Do we agree it was unfortunate? Do we agree it was weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, I understand yanking the chain. The timing of it to me was fucked. Pull him right after San Jose. Let Gulletson be the head coach. Give him, I don't know. Coffey was probably there, making him assistant right away, and away you go. Letting him coach that game in Seattle as a lame duck, getting a win to me is just kind of, I don't know, not how most.
They had a good time though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fucking tell Inspector, I don't read your columns, and kind of mic drop moment there, and then the next day, yes, and then that's it. Who's next?
How do you get paid to just hate and shit on a team?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like even Matheson isn't that bad. Like, after the why are you so pissy with Leon? I mean, Matheson has been pretty good. There's not really anything questionable coming from him. But holy fuck, Spectre, he's just a weasel and an arrogant son of a bitch, and I don't like the guy. I'll be honest.
Yeah. No, I shake my head. But the unfortunate thing is, for guys like you and me, we keep fucking looking at his shit.
Oh
And
well,
you just shake your head.
I he got on Darnell Nurse for Nurse having a glove with like a hole in the palm, and he made a big thing about it. So I took the picture of Nurse with the hole in the glove, and I put "fuck Mark Spector" in there and posted it on Twitter. I've been blocked by Spector, and it's been the best because I don't have to see his articles.
Oh yeah, but it's some stranger just made the comment. He thrives on the controversies, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
exactly what he does.
clickbait bullshit. Yeah,
And it's I always look at it and go, hockey is easy pickings because it is the most polite professional sport. Because they hockey players are the Bull Durham quotes. They're going to give 110%, and good Lord willing, as long as we get pucks in deep. Because they unlike, but you follow enough sports, they don't speak their minds as much as
yeah,
NFL players and NBA players.
yeah,
Um, they don't, and it's just the culture.
yeah,
So you get idiots like Spectre that can get away with it
yeah,
because they don't get called out, they don't get run out of the room. Um, but it also goes to the point where they're talking about leaders and who's running the team. If you had a guy like Spectre, Angel, I'll give you this one. In the Kings dressing room, you don't think Kopitar or Drew Doughty would take him aside and tell him, here's the deal.
yeah,
You got to shape up or we're going to tune you in this
yeah.
dressing room in front of
That,
everybody.
that would be Doughty. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The thing that endeared me to Leon Draisaitl was actually being in the building when he looked at all the fans in an interview and he said, "You guys are fucking phenomenal," and he let it go. Like he he broke the fifth wall, to quote the acting term. He made it personal with everybody in the building, and it was Leon, and it wasn't some robotic script that you kind of get a lot from Connor, and you know awesome.
Yeah. And to defend Connor, he's had to do it since he was 12 years old.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. How many times did you see Gretz in his playing career, you know, unload? He was the same way. I mean, they're kind of geared to be this gentleman, kind of, you know, unfathomable creature. Like, yeah,
Canadians, Dirsa.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah. Dreisaitl's German. There you go.
I'm
You solve
sorry.
you solve the
We're
riddle.
we're inherently made. We were raised in this country to say sorry. It's a
Yeah,
joke around the world, right? Canadians, that's Canadians' line. I'm sorry.
yeah,
That's why I watched a ESPN show the other day and basically was questioning why Jeremy Roenick's not in the Hall of Fame. Well, because he told everybody to eat shit. That doesn't fit the hockey way. He spoke his mind.
yeah. How is he not a Hall of Famer? Hey?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But utter lunatic. Love it. But that said, for another time, we can get into stories of how I was as a teammate.
Speaking of that, yeah, I'll tell a quick one before we go because I think the puck drops in about 8 minutes. But you were a warrior. I mean, we played volleyball, and it's not known as this, behemoth, crushing people kind of sport. But I remember you in practice going up to block a volleyball, and fingers are out. I got to get in front of the camera, and the old pinky went 90 degrees. Yeah,
Still doesn't straight.
yeah, and you're like, I think I'm done. You walk off the court like you didn't even show like an ounce of like agony or really any of that. You just kind of walked off the court, and I'm like looking at your finger, and it's fucking 90 degrees. I'm like, this guy's
That,
tough. This guy's tough. He's
the doctor told me I couldn't play for 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Yeah. How soon were you back?
That happened on a Wednesday. I played Friday.
And you did it twice, right? It happened again.
Oh yeah, I did. And even while you were gone my last year, it just kept going. It finally just got to the point God, you shouldn't tell this. You just brick the bastard to to the other one beside. But I'd have to hide a splint in between.
Oh, okay, yeah, cover up the
Play
metal.
ref, right?
Otherwise, they don't want you to play.
Yeah, I had a foreign object in there, like muck and stain, and had to tape her together. And yeah, it's still crooked, but oh shit, that.
And when it comes to trash talking, you were in a league of your own. I mean, I used to think I was a pretty good trash talker when I would play on basketball. But I remember, some guy would be chirping you, and you would call them your son, and that would either get them to like really get mad at you and go back and forth with you, or it would get them to shut up. And either way, they were beat.
I think it was because, and I'll tell you this truthfully, is because I refereed so much hockey. I heard so much shit, and I was always that ref that let it go because it always made me laugh. Until it got like personal, but when it was like funny, it made me laugh, and I'd always remember those lines. And I will always say one of the most fun volleyball matches I ever had was at Nate, and their hockey team, men's hockey team, was sitting front row, and I got into with them in warm-up, and it went the whole time, and we kicked the shit out of them, and I didn't even care. And the ref was a little perplexed because I wasn't yapping at the other team. I knew all those guys from Nate. They were friends of mine. Not that it would stop me, but getting into it, the chirps with hockey players, and that's what always astonishes me, is you can run your mouth like complete lunatics, but then as soon as there's a microphone, you're going to be a goddamn choir boy. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that dichotomy always made me laugh.
Be real, which I'll close kind of with this. Like Sean Avery put out a little video about, how the Oilers and McDavid and Draisaitl should be. And he saw the Draisaitl Spectre back and forth and Matheson and all that. And he's like, he was telling Draisaitl he needs to be nice. I fucking found that hilariously ironic.
Especially when a guy that played for the Rangers, and who's the guy, the reporter for the Rangers that they all hate? Yeah. He's like, that guy's got to be like on Specs Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah. Stan something, I think.
Yeah, but they get into it with him all the time. I don't know. I don't know. But here we go. Like, there's onwards and upwards.
Yeah, man.
I'm sick of checking in on these shows of yours.
Yep.
Looking at you like somebody shot your damn dog.
Oh, I'm all right. All right.
Well, you need to go back and look at a few of them. You look sad, bro.
Well, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe on past shows I was sad. Like, Stanley Cup favorite team here, and we're in the doghouse. So, Kris Knoblauch era starts tonight, and we'll see what that brings.
Well, I said 7-6.
7-6. Fire wagon hockey. Let her go. Sammy
gets a hat trick tonight. Like,
you heard it here first, folks.
No, Sammy gets a hat trick tonight, Dirsa. I'm doing the intro for your next show. It's going to be
beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, we need to have you back because this was a lot of fun, and it's fun catching up with you.
Oh yeah,
you're a certified beautician, and I love you, and I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. Keep your sticks on the ice. Go Oilers, go.
Eat shit.
What was that, Relic?
I said eat shit, LA.
Eat shit, LA. Yeah, suck it, LA. We'll have this bad boy out on Spotify and all that probably tomorrow. Good night, everybody.